Good afternoon.
Coach, are you able to expand at all on Mario Addison's chest injury? Was that contact related? Is it muscle related? Anything like that?
Just a precautionary. He took a blow to the chest, and so we're just being cautious.
Sternum type area, pairing.
Just a. I can't be specific on the area. Just a blow to the chest, and we just wanted to be precautious, and just say, hey, let's take a day and rest and come back tomorrow.
How'd Greg Olsen look out there, and how optimistic are you he might be able to play this week?
Well, it was fun to see him back out there. He had fun being back out there. He's still in protocol, so it's day to day, and I'll give you the update as we get the update. But it was good to see him back out there.
Coach, the roster will bring in linebacker Wilson. What does he bring to you guys? He's signed to the 53.
Yeah, so we took the opportunity to go out and seek another player. We had scouted him, our scouting department, with Marty, so I would defer that to Marty, but he had recommended that he come in and be able to, practice with us and see if he can add some depth to our core.
Regarding your kick and punt return situation, I know that's something that has been tweaked several times throughout the course of the year. I'm wondering if you can expand a little bit on the release of Greg Dortch, and then also who could you envision, even if it's telling us in a rotation role, could you see being back there for you guys?
Yeah, well, it's unfortunate with Greg. Obviously, we didn't want to. We had to do what we had to do. From that standpoint, we're going to look at several players as kick returners and several players as punt returners. The players we're thinking about are Turner to come back as Mike Davis, I should say, to come back as a kick return guy. We're looking at Zelstra to come back as a punt returner. We have DJ White. So we have some options that we could go to, and we're going to evaluate those guys this week, and we feel like we have several other guys on the team that are capable of doing that.
Coach, what can you tell us about Cam's surgery this week?
I can tell you it was successful, and that he's back home in Atlanta rehabbing, and everything looked good from that standpoint, and that's about as much as I know.
Have you spoken with him?
I have not spoken with him.
Harry, is it unusual for him to be rehabbing there as opposed to here at the building?
Well, it's just right after the surgery, so I'm not saying it's rehab right now. I know he's resting right now, and that's the protocol right now for my training staff.
Do you have any, were you given any kind of timeline?
No timeline. I'm just day to day waiting for information to come out of that.
To what extent are you leaning on kind of the veteran leaders of this locker to kind of help keep everything together and keep everybody focused?
Well, I'm counting on all players to keep everything together and keep everything focused. As I speak with the team, we have some veterans and we have some younger players that are leaders on our football team. And I'm looking at all players that have that want to step up and keep this thing going. And when I say going, I mean, hey, play with energy, play with enthusiasm, play with poise, okay? Work for a victory. I'm looking for all players to step up and bond together.
Harry, how have you seen the guys in that locker room then respond after obviously the game on Sunday, but then your message to them on Monday?
Yeah, I've liked the response that I've received from our guys. Our guys are competitors, and they do want to win. They came out with a really good attitude, good energy today. Everything wasn't perfect today, and we have work to do, but I really like the way they're coming out working. And I like the way that their attitudes are in the meeting rooms, too.
How do you expect to use Chris Hogan? What do you expect to see from him these last few weeks, returning, fitting into this offense?
He just came back today, so that's really difficult to say because I know I said to him on the field, I said, it's good to see you back out here. And he said, Coach, it's great to be back out here. So we were excited that he could be back on the field. We'll evaluate him, day to day. We'll see how sore he is tomorrow, and, the trainers will engage with us about his progress as far as that's concerned. But it's good to have him back out there.
Value. I know we've talked about this some, but having someone like Chris Hogan with only 3 weeks left, maybe having him play a couple games, why do you feel like, giving these guys these opportunities is important so late in the season?
Well, obviously Chris has championship caliber play in his blood, right? And so from our perspective, if he can help us win a game, that's the value.
Coach, how do you impress upon players to focus on their job as opposed to trying to do too much? 5-game losing streak, everybody wants to make a play, wants to be the swing guy, but how do you convince them if you do your job and everybody stays together, you can get it done?
Yeah, that's a tough part of coaching. You have to point out on video, which we did on Monday. You have to point it out on video. You have to point it out in practice when you don't see them doing their job. It's a constant reminder of them to play team instead of being self.
Coach, this is your first full week where this is you are the head of this team with no change like last week. How are you settling in, and what has it been like to kind of game plan in that role all week since Sunday?
It's not as hectic, and when I say it's not as hectic, it's not thrust upon you and you've got to react. So it's been a smoother week for me, a more settling week because I know what to expect this week. It's still difficult.
You look at the Seahawks, and they've been able to maintain the success that that Tepper's looking for. Since 2012, they've had double-digit wins every season except for one. Looking in from the outside, why do you think that is?
Looking at that organization, I think they've done a nice job of scouting and taking the players that they've scouted and they've drafted and developed those players. They put them into a system, and they've been in that system for a number of years. They've had stability. And then when they had to change players or change over players, they had role players that could come in and assume the responsibility of the players that left. So I just think that's, they've got a philosophy, and they stick with their philosophy, and it's been successful for them.
Coach,
Do you have any update on Marquise Haynes? He wasn't out there today.
Day to day, day to day.
Coach, the defense has fared well against mobile quarterbacks with Kyler Murray and Deshaun Watson this season. Why do you think that is, and what do you see as the key to doing the same thing against Russell Wilson?
Yeah, we did have early success against Kyler and as well as Deshaun, and we look for that repeated success. Not that we don't emphasize it every week, but when you have someone that's mobile like that, it's a special emphasis. Obviously, Russell's a guy that can move the pocket, create time, just like Deshaun could and just like Kyler did. And so I think our antennas go up a little bit more keenly when those mobile quarterbacks are in play.
Coach, as someone who's obviously been busy with the defensive side of the ball, what type of nightmares does a guy like Russell Wilson present, for the defensive coaching staff?
Well, he's playing at a championship level. And so just watching him on tape and watching his play, you're saying that you hope he has a bad day, because he's playing at a level that's MVP level right now.
Is that also one of the reasons for their sustained success is having him? He's been healthy pretty much,
No doubt about it. Yes, stability at the quarterback position. He's been healthy for the most part. And obviously his leadership permeates throughout the team.
Very same approach this week in terms of the defensive play calling.
Same approach.
I'm sure you've been involved in a lot of these situations. So with what Dante Jackson said Sunday, do you discipline something like that, or do you just talk about it and then figure it's heat of the moment and forget about it?
We just handle it internally, and we move forward.
Does that include possible discipline?
We just handle it internally, and we move forward.
How do you take that? You were his position coach and now the head coach. You take that personally, or how do you take it?
We just handle it internally, and we move forward.
Anything else for Coach?
Hey, thank you.